Ever felt like your brilliant product or service is just, I don't know, lost? Like you're shouting into the void
Like,
online?
absolutely. It's a huge challenge. You've got something great, you know it, but getting actual paying customers to notice
Yeah.
in that massive digital crowd, it feels impossible sometimes.
Right. We all want to make sales, obviously. But how many of us really get the nuts and bolts, the actual cost involved in turning someone just browsing online into someone who actually buys from you?
It's often a big disconnect, isn't it?
Yeah.
People see online ads and think it's straightforward, but it's this whole complex ecosystem. And frankly, a lot of sellers, especially new ones, they just wildly underestimate what it really takes. It's not just about the product anymore.
Exactly. It's about smart investment. And that is precisely what we are digging into today. We're doing a deep dive into the, let's say, the practical, sometimes kind of harsh realities of paid online advertising.
Hmm.
And our source material today is fascinating. It's this really candid conversation between like a seasoned marketer and a seller who's just trying to get started.
Yeah, it's quite revealing.
They're talking about selling an exfoliating glove, of all things, simple product, but their chat just pulls back the curtain on everything involved in launching an ad campaign that, actually has a shot.
And our goal here really is to unpack those numbers, those key metrics that you absolutely have to understand before you spend even a single dollar. We want to help you avoid those really common mistakes that just drain your budget.
Yeah, make the advertising actually work for you, not against you.
Yeah.
So by the end of this, you'll get why knowing your exact profit margin is totally non-negotiable. It's step one.
Absolutely fundamental.
We'll break down terms like CPM, click-through rate, conversion rate, not just definitions, but what they mean for your money.
Right, how they actually play out.
And maybe the most surprising bit, why trying to save money with a tiny daily ad budget might actually be the fastest way to waste it. Sounds weird, but we'll get into it.
Okay, let's set the scene. So you've got the seller, right? They're optimistic, ready to go. Product is an exfoliating glove. Price, $28.88.
Seems clear enough. Solid price point.
Yeah, but the marketer's first question, it cuts right through all that. They don't ask about features. They ask, okay, out of that $28.88, how much do you actually keep?
Ah, the killer question. And the seller is a bit vague, right? Gives a range.
Exactly. They say between $12 and $15 per glove, and this is where it gets really interesting.
Because the marketer doesn't just nod along.
No way. They immediately push back. They say, look, you need to know your numbers down to the decimal. No guessing. And for planning, they insist on using the lowest number, the $12 profit.
That feels important. Not just being conservative, but like a hard rule.
It is. The marketer lays it out pretty bluntly. They say something like, if we run ads based on fuzzy numbers you give us and it tanks, we lose money, and then you're going to blame the marketing. You
Yeah.
see?
Ouch. But fair enough, right?
Where?
The seller actually agrees.
Mm-hmm. They concede. It's a fair point.
So this idea of knowing your exact profit, like
Yeah.
really knowing it, that's the absolute starting block. If you don't know what you make per item, how on earth can you figure out what you can afford to spend to get a sale?
You can't. You're just
Yeah.
guessing. You're flying blind, basically. It's the bedrock, like you said. Everything else builds on that.
Okay, so they established the $12 profit figure. That's the number to work with. Then the conversation shifts to the ad budget.
Right. And this is another classic moment. The seller probably thinking, start small, be cautious.
Sensible approach, you might think.
Yeah, they suggest spending just $5 a day, but consistently for 90 days straight. So $5 times 90 days.
Okay, $5 a day. Sounds manageable, maybe.
Well, the marketer immediately flags this as a problem. And the reason why is really key for anyone listening.
It's not just that $5 is a small amount of money overall.
Not entirely. It's about the speed of learning. The marketer points out that at only $5 a day, it would take something like 2 months just to build up enough impressions to even test if the campaign works.
2 months, just to see if it's even viable.
Exactly. 2 months of spending, even if it's just a little each day, essentially gathering data incredibly slowly. You're kind of in the dark. It's wasted time, wasted money, really.
So what's the alternative then? What's the professional advice?
The marketer is pretty clear. They say they personally wouldn't even bother running Facebook ads unless you can commit to at least $15 a day. Minimum.
15. Okay, 3 times what the seller suggested.
And ideally, they suggest aiming closer to the product's price point per day. So for the $28.88 glove, maybe spend around $28 a day.
Whoa, okay, that sounds like a lot more. Why spend almost the full product price per day?
It comes back to that speed thing. The quote is, that way you move through the data faster, otherwise you'll just waste money.
Ah, okay. So it's about feeding the machine, the algorithm.
Precisely. These ad platforms like Facebook, they're learning systems. They need a decent amount of data impressions, clicks coming in consistently to figure out who responds, what works, how to optimize. $5 a day. It's like feeding an elephant one peanut at a time.
Right. It never gets enough info to learn properly.
Exactly. You delay the learning, make the whole process super inefficient. You might actually spend more in the long run because it takes so long to figure out if it's even working or not.
Okay, that makes sense. Spend more per day to learn faster and potentially save money overall by not running a failing campaign for months.
That's the idea. Get actionable data quickly.
All right, so budget is one piece. But then how do you actually track if these ads are doing anything? This brings us to the metrics, the jargon, starting with CPM.
Yeah, CPM, it stands for cost per thousand impressions. An impression is just your ad showing up on someone's screen. They don't have to click it, just see it.
Okay, cost for 1,000 views, basically.
Right. And the marketer gives some real-world context. In Australia, apparently, on a really good day, you might pay $12 for those 1,000 impressions.
$12.
Mm.
Seems okay.
But, and this is crucial, the seller is in beauty and skincare. That's a really competitive space online.
Ah, so more competition equals higher costs.
Definitely. The marketer warns that in that niche, CPM can skyrocket. It could be $45, even $50, just for those same 1,000 impressions.
Wow, that's like 4 times higher, just because of the industry.
Huge difference. But to keep the calculations simple and honestly optimistic, they decide to stick with the best case scenario for the rest of the math. So, $12 CPM.
Got it. So $12 gets your ad seen 1,000 times.
Yeah.
What happens next? People need to click, right? That's CTR.
Exactly. CTR is click-through rate. It's the percentage of people who saw the ad and actually clicked on it.
So how many clicks do you get from those 1,000 impressions in this example?
Well, the marketer uses a pretty standard, maybe even slightly optimistic figure. They say out of those 1,000 people who see it, maybe 10 will click it.
10 clicks out of 1,000.
That's a 1% click-through rate,
Yeah.
which is, not uncommon. If your CTR is super low, it might mean your ad isn't very compelling, or maybe you're showing it to the wrong people.
Okay, so 1% click. 10 people land on your website from the ad. But a click isn't a sale, right?
Yeah.
Not even close.
Not even close. That leads us to the final crucial metric, conversion rate.
This is the big one, I guess. The percentage who actually buy something.
Yep. This is the percentage of people who clicked the ad, landed on your site, and then completed a purchase. The marketer mentions average conversion rates are often around 1% to 3%.
1 to 3%.
Still sounds pretty low.
It is. And again, being conservative, the marketer uses 1% for the calculation. So what does that mean? It means for every 100 people who land on your site from the ad, you can reasonably expect only one sale.
Wow. Okay. 100 visitors needed for just one purchase. That really puts things in perspective.
It does. It shows how much traffic you need just to get that single conversion.
All right, let's tie this all together then. We have the CPM, the CTR, the conversion rate. How does this chain reaction lead to the actual cost per sale?
Okay, let's walk through it step by step using
Yeah.
those numbers. We know 1,000 impressions gets you 10 clicks, right? Based on the 1% CTR.
Right, 10 clicks.
But we need 100 clicks to get that one estimated sale based on the 1% conversion rate. Okay, so if 1,000 impressions give 10 clicks, to get 100 clicks, you'd need 10 times the impressions.
Exactly. You'd need 10,000 impressions in total.
10,000 times your ad has to appear on a screen somewhere.
Mm-hmm. And now, remember our best case CPM? It was $12 per 1,000 impressions.
Okay, so for 10,000 impressions, that's 10 sets of 1,000. So 10 times $12.
You got it. That comes out to about $120 in ad spend.
Hold on. $120 just to get one sale, even in the best case scenario.
That's the calculation based on these conservative but fairly standard online advertising metrics. About $120 spent on ads to achieve one purchase of that exfoliating glove.
Wait, the profit per glove was only $12, the number they decided to work with?
Now you see the punchline?
You spend $120 to make $12. You're losing $108 on every single sale driven by these ads.
Precisely. This is the stark reality the marketer reveals. And this is why that initial $5 a day budget the seller proposed just won't cut it.
Because even spending $120 takes time at $5 a day. What's that, like 24 days just to make one sale and realize you lost money?
Even longer. Because remember, it took 2 months just to gather enough data to test the campaign. Spending that little just drags out the inevitable discovery that the economics don't work. You're just slowly bleeding money instead of getting fast feedback.
Wow. Yeah. It's not just ineffective, it's actively harmful to just trickle money in like that. if the underlying numbers don't support it.
It's a prolonged, costly way to learn a hard lesson. It really highlights the need for speed and data.
So wrapping this up, this deep dive really hammers home a few critical points, doesn't it? It's not just about wanting to advertise. It's about doing the math up front.
Absolutely. First, knowing your precise profit margin isn't optional, it's foundation number one. Down to the decimal, like the marketer said.
Second, understanding those key metrics, CPM, CTR, conversion rate, they aren't just jargon. They're the vital signs of your campaign's health, and they directly dictate your costs.
Right, and they can vary wildly depending on your industry and how good your ads are. And third, that counterintuitive idea about budget. Trying to be safe with a tiny budget might feel responsible, but it can actually guarantee you waste money by slowing down the learning process so much.
Yeah, you end up spending for longer just to find out something isn't working, instead of getting quick data to either fix it or stop spending. It's about informed investment, not just spending.
It really shifts the perspective from just running ads to strategically managing costs versus profit, which leads to maybe a final thought for everyone listening.
Go for it.
Think about your own situation, whether it's a business, a side project, maybe even just managing your personal finances or time. What are the real numbers you might be overlooking?
Where are you maybe operating on fuzzy figures or assumptions?
Exactly. Because, as this example shows, accurately knowing your numbers isn't just about damage control or avoiding losses. Sometimes, really understanding them is the key that unlocks growth or potential you didn't even realize was there.
It forces you to be honest about what's working and what isn't, and where the real opportunities lie. Definitely something to chew on.